Never going to end. But for me personally, I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. I think we can all agree 2020, what a year, we all got impacted by time in different ways. For me personally, I play so many different roles, and all the roles in my life, they do overlap, and that is what's interesting for my research, but it also can be very exhausting for me. So pretty much I've got like my family life, my personal life, I've got my research, my academic life, and then I've got my community life. And within that, they're all kind of different as well. So now, for example, in the community, the last 5 or so years, we've been trying to create a lot of events and support for people with hearing loss who are deaf from different cultural backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, because there's a big gap for them, especially people from Muslim backgrounds. Or, for example, we're trying to create more access in the Islamic places of worship, Islamic events, community events, trying to encourage interpreting, things like that. That's one part of it. And then we used to organize social events like barbecues, things like that. Obviously, with last year, we had to put up on hold for a lot of these events or move something online. And everything about community, I love doing them, but I'm not paid for them, but it's extra to what I actually have to do. And I love advocating and creating these things, but now I'm at a point where I'm giving so much of my time and my effort, I'm losing myself in the process. I have to come back and be like, okay, just calm, stop, reflect. Don't lose yourself when you're giving out too much to other people. And there has been, so it's very nice now when someone steps up and starts a Zoom meeting or starts something. So it's nice to see when other people in the community trying to step up and do something as well. So it makes me feel like, okay, we're all in this together. But I feel like because of the gap is too big, the fight is too big, so we'll keep fighting, but it gets very tiring. So right now, for example, my PhD and my research, I'm almost halfway, but I guess I'm at a stage now where doing a PhD is just any time, any stage, but doing a PhD in a pandemic is completely different, another story. So during last year, we have to transition to online, like Zoom meetings, things like that. And for me, because I'm hard of hearing, I had to make sure that there's access when it comes to online technology. And it's funny because before COVID, I already had experience doing that. I already had experience using Zoom and booking captioning and booking interpreters. So it is a bit easier to create accessibility online for some people, not all. And so I had to do interviews, interviewed other Muslim women who are deaf or hard of hearing, and I get ethics approval for face-to-face interviews. And then the lockdown happened. I couldn't do face-to-face interviews anymore. So I had to go back to the university ethics and change to online Zoom interviews. And that includes also booking interpreters or like captioning. So and also I had funding to. I was lucky the university offered me funding because universities were losing so much money and they were going through a big change as well. There was a lot of uncertainty happening around the university as well. But I was very lucky that my research and myself, I was feeling a bit supportive, especially from my amazing supervisors. So I have 3 PhD supervisors. One is a person of color, but they're all female. I have a very strong supervisory team. They have been supportive in every step of the way. Even though I can't speak for the university as a whole, but I do work with a very supportive team and very supportive supervisors. And when I told them early this year, I'm going through a lot of family personal stuff. I'm feeling so drained, and they were very that understood and they're like, take all the time you need. In my personal life, I'm actually grieving at the moment. I've lost a few important people in my life, one last week in Lebanon. So I have family in Lebanon and family here. So I guess as someone who's first generation born here, but you've got family in another country, unfortunately isn't doing as well. So compared to my experiences here in terms of, we do have a good health system, we don't have much COVID cases, for example, even going, so things like that, I think what the point is that in some aspects of my life, I do feel privileged in some ways, and other aspects I don't feel privileged. So with all the different identities and the role I have to play, so just surface in some situations and others don't surface. So in some ways I do feel supported, in some ways I don't feel supported. But right now, I need to look after myself, and I think something, I think this whole year or last year now, I just realized I need to be kinder to myself, and that's what my friends are telling me. Because I do feel like a sense of responsibility to myself, to my family, to my community, and that is very different communities as well. Because people look up to me, wow, like there's this woman who can represent us, and this representative, I'm very honored to be a representative, but we can't really speak for everyone for their experiences. So I do feel like there's always a load on my shoulders, but it's okay to kind of share the load.
Thank you, sister. Yes, it's so real.